Well, it's such a pleasure. Welcome everybody to Equity Chat 2.0. I'm so pleased today to have Dr. Maria Harper-Marinick here with us. Hi, Dr. Marinick. Good to see you.
Very good to see you, Tammeil. So glad to be with you and really appreciative of the invitation to have this conversation today.
Yeah, so, guests, I want to just make sure everybody in our equity Avenger community knows a little bit about you before we get started with our chat today. So Dr. Maria Harper-Marinick is a nationally recognized higher education leader and advocate for equitable access, student success, and economic opportunity. She served nearly 30 years with the Maricopa Community College District, including as chancellor of its 10 colleges. She is currently a senior fellow for the Aspen Institute's College Excellence Program, a guided pathways coach for the Texas Success Center, an Aspen Ascend Fellow, and a distinguished fellow at ASU's Morrison Institute for Public Policy. She chairs the Unidos US board and serves on the boards of Excelencia in Education and the Valley Leadership Impact Makers Advisory Council. Her leadership and advocacy have earned numerous honors, including the NCCHC Chancellor of Excellence Award and recognition among diverse issues in higher education's 25 women who have made a difference. Originally from the Dominican Republic, she came to the United States as a Fulbright scholar and earned a master's and a PhD in education from Arizona State University. I'm so, such a fangirl of you. Just so pleased to be able to have you here today. So let's go ahead and get started. So as you engage in equity focused work, what is your walk-up theme song or anthem?
You would think that's an easy question, but that's probably the question that takes longer. Like, I don't know. But it did remind me of two songs that I tend to go to kind of recenter myself. And one is Imagine by John Lennon, simply because it forces me to think about imagine what if. It doesn't need to be what is. It could be something else. So it kind of inspires me to kind of recenter in that imagination of the possibilities. And the other one, it's actually from a Spanish poet and singer, Joan Manuel Serrat, and he's Catalan, and he has a song called Cantares, and it talks about there's no road, there's only the road that you make as you walk. Oh. And so it reminds me of the agency that we all have to create the journey that we wish to be really involved in.
I can't wait to add that song to our Equity Avengers playlist.
It's good. It's a great song. Yeah.
What I love, though, is also just like sort of the faith and the vision, right? The imagination, the dreaming that we need to do as education leaders. And then like that, how do we like actually make the road by walking and pull each?
The agency, the agency that we have, the agency that we should have, which is part of the equity work. How do you give other people the permission to have their own agency about their journey and their future? So yeah, those two are the two that I would say come to mind. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Thank you. So was there a defining moment or experience that catalyzed your journey to engage in this work, serving and championing community college students?
Actually, there is. And it's many years back. I don't know, more than 50 years back. So I was in high school, and I was probably about 15 when I realized that there were people, who didn't have the same opportunities that I had and that people I knew had. And it took me some time to think through that actually what was making the difference was access to education. So I decided way back then that I would become a teacher and that I would devote my life to service and to, as much as I could, help other people gain knowledge and read and write and get the power of learning. So all of my degrees are in education, and I started my career in 1980 as a teacher in post-secondary institutions. And then I became a big fan, in love with community colleges in the 80s when I was a graduate student, and I had an opportunity to be an intern with the former chancellor at the time of the Maricopa Community Colleges, actually.
Wow. Wow.
And I was a student. I didn't know a lot about community colleges, and I said, sure, I'll be an intern. I'll do that work, and immediately fell in love with the beautiful mission that community colleges have to open doors. Come as you are, we welcome you, and we make a promise that we're going to work with you to allow you to develop to the full potential of all of the abilities that you were born to have. I do believe in my heart, every single person is brilliant. Every person deserves the opportunity to develop the greatness that they were born with. So I believe that's what community colleges are meant to do, and that's why community colleges were founded. And immediately I decided that I would just make my professional life part of community colleges. So I've been doing this since the mid 80s.
Wow. And you have made the road by walking. Look, and you
I have.
like
I
really,
am committed.
yeah, I just so inspired by just like sort of the through line where you knew when you knew and then how it's really connected to everything that you're about and doing.
It is, and it's through freedom. True freedom is access to education for all people. That's how we liberate.
Yes.
Well, once you know and you have the power to know and you have the power, as I said earlier, to have agency, then no one can take that away from you. And I believe that's what we do as community colleges.
Yes. So inspired. I know I'm feeling you because that's exactly how I feel.
Good. If we were in person, you would really be feeling me.
So to do this work, as you know, we must continue learning and partnering with others. So how do you educate yourself and who is informing your practice these days?
Thank you. I'm a learner. And I am a learner, and I love information. I love to read, but I'm also a student of people. So I stay knowledgeable and I stay centered in a variety of ways. I read like other people read. I listen to podcasts like this. And I'm very familiar with work that I believe matters to community colleges. So, Achieving the Dream, and obviously the Aspen College Excellence Program, where I'm a senior fellow. The work of excellence in education. I serve on that board. There's so many organizations. CCRC, which is a fantastic repository of research. So I read the academic, the best practices, the things that we know work. That's one part of it. But the other part of it is the people that I choose to interact with. I am part of a very wide, strong network. People that keep me grounded, and through their stories, I strengthen myself. I have learned to listen. I have learned that behind every person, every face, there's a story that I may not know unless I am curious enough to engage and ask. So I stay connected not only because of there's information and knowledge, but because I really believe in the power of humans. So I spend a lot of time. I believe I am a relationship builder. I really love people and I love interacting with people. There are amazing humans doing great work in community colleges. So I try to stay connected. I am a coach, as you mentioned, and not only in Texas, but I do a lot of coaching for Aspen. But I'm also a mentor, and I mentor hundreds of people because that's my way of giving back, and that's my way to stay connected also to the work. So my commitment is we do equity work when we have representation and we have people who understand who we are. We don't need to explain. We don't need to apologize for who we are because people understand that. That's a commitment I have. And to do that, I need to stay connected with a network of fantastic, amazing people like you who are doing the important work.
It's just like, I like feel so heartened because what you're saying is people are at the core of any sort of liberation movement and change and what we do together. But I love this idea around curiosity and keeping that going because like you are genuinely interested in people and people's well-being and actualizing themselves. And I am. That makes you it is one of the reasons you are such a phenomenal and nationally recognized leader, and just feel really honored to share like even a small amount of space with you today. That was just really, I always am thinking about, and all those mentees that you have, they're so fortunate. I'm like, oh
Thank
my
you.
gosh.
But let me tell you an important voice that I wish I had more opportunity now, but I did when I was a chancellor, is the voice of the students that we serve.
Yes.
And, I was reminded by some of my students that don't just come around and get together and you all like to talk about us and what's good for us and, what's not good for us. Ask us.
Yes.
We're not blank slates. We're not babies. We are adults with lived experiences. So I am also very respectful of the voices of the people for whom we do the work and with whom we do the work. I think that's critically important.
Yeah, I love that. I was meeting with my student trustees today, and I just, as we're like thinking about, what we want to do together over this next academic year, and I was just inspired by, right, their
That's right.
genuine curiosity too, and their interest and the diversity of thought that they have. And so, thank you for recentering and reminding who our best teachers are is the students. So, I know and we have a lot of shared interests, but we all have a vision, right, for the future we want to live in. You've kind of talked a little bit about that today already. What is your freedom dream for higher education, and what gives you hope for its future?
Yeah, that's a good question. My dream is that we never forget why we exist. And we exist to provide equal access, equal opportunity to all people, not to some people, not to the people we like, not to the students that we had in 1965. We are created to serve all people. So part of my dream is we never lose sight of that. We don't forget our raison d'etre, which is service and access, equal access to all people. So that's one. But to provide that, I also would love more affordability.
Yes.
To be a bit more practical about, I do believe public education should be as free as possible. I know that's not easy to do. It's not even feasible in some places, but it's an aspiration because you asked me about the dream.
Yeah, we should have the will to do something. Exactly.
So that's the part of my dream is that, and that as we welcome the students, we create environments that are truly respectful of the whole self, of the whole student, that people really, truly believe that everyone has the potential for brilliance, and that we make a commitment to design systems and develop policies and practices that really address the whole student as human beings, in addition to people who want to learn and people who want to acquire a skill. And as I said earlier, part of my dream is that the leadership and the faculty and the staff and everyone who is connected to a college community is representative of the communities that we serve. And then another practical, and I'm sorry, but I did have a lot of thoughts about it.
No, I love it.
Another thing is,
you get to freedom dream as much as you want.
yeah, okay, great. Another is that we take a really good look at what we offer. Access is critically important. We all know access is not enough. Students don't attend college just to have access to college. Everyone has a dream too, to get some sort of certification, some sort of degree that allows you to have a productive life. So part of my dream is that the only way colleges offer programs are programs that lead to prosperity and family sustaining wages, and that we have the courage to say no to a lot of pathways that actually lead to poverty because they lead to employment where people are making minimum wage. You can't support a family. That's not the dream. That's not the promise we made to the community. So I think that in welcoming the students and then making that commitment, that is not good enough to say welcome. It's better to say we're with you through the journey, because at the end of that, there will be an opportunity for you for new employment or better employment. So I think all of the above is what I hope becomes the norm. Yeah. That's not something new idea. It's not, no, that's how we do the business is it's a combination of equal access and equitable outcomes, that lead to productive lives and economic mobility. Everybody wants that. It doesn't matter, I wanted that for me and my children, and everybody wants that. And I believe that is the mission of the colleges.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I think you said it so well. It's really, how do we have the courage to say yes to the things that we need to, no to the things that we know do not actually lead to, sustainable lives and generational impact for our students. And how do we make it affordable, right? That people can have that access. So
I have one more. Let me mention one more thing too,
please.
because I know some environments with the political landscape, some things are less easy to do now. But I think our commitment to data and our commitment to the segregation of data and truly understanding where are the gaps and who are the people that maybe we're leaving behind.
Yeah.
I think we can't lose the discipline and the commitment to do that. We have to do that. And I do not subscribe to the, let's do one strategy because it will help everybody. Some strategies do help everybody, but there are times when we have to make different decisions to help groups of people that are not benefiting from those, kind of fetal strategies. So how we do that is by continuing the discipline to look at the data and making brave decisions with what we see and what we know.
Mm-hmm. And learning more when we don't know the answer to what we're seeing in the data.
That's exactly right.
Like you
That's
said
exactly
before,
right.
being
That's
willing
exactly
to
right.
do that. Be curious. I love that.
Yes.
Well, the road to racial equity is long, as you know, and that's why we're sort of in this work. And so how are you sustaining yourself, and what practice would you recommend to other equity Avengers out there in our community?
Well, that's tough. I have, I'll give you a practical one that I have adopted. I am a Pilates aficionado, and it's one way. It's not the only way, but it's the way that works for me to be centered and to remain healthy as a person. I tend to be a giver, and I have learned that if I don't fill it up again, at some point there's nothing else to give, right? That I have to give to myself as much as I give to other people. So that's what I have found as a mental and a physical practice is I'm very committed to doing that. So that's from a practical. I do that when I can. If I'm in town at home and not on the road, I go every day, and it's a form of meditation for me.
I love that.
The other thing I have done, and I've been doing this for many years now. I'm very reflective, and in that reflection, I have found a place of gratitude for small things and big things. So when things happen that are less pleasant or painful or humiliating, insulting, I always try to go into a place of gratitude. So yes, that happened. Obviously, when I was a chancellor, there were many opportunities where things like that were happening. As a Latina, as an immigrant, as a woman leader, you know that. But I have developed the self-awareness and the reflection and the discipline to think about, but what about the things that are working? And sometimes I have this conversation with people. I say, oh my God, when you were chancellor, these tough things were happening. And I said, but you know what? That was not the majority of the time, actually. Yeah, they were painful. And because sometimes those little public things become, hurtful as a human. But I said, the joy was much greater than the moments of pain because the students believed in us. And that's part of, so place of gratitude. I'm not necessarily an optimist, but I'm a hopeful person. And what gives me hope is the people for whom and with whom we do the work. So even during challenging times, even when things are really tough in some communities, especially in California, there are tough things happening. But guess what? The students are still coming.
Yes.
So they still believe in the leaders. They still believe in the institutions, and they come in with hope. So their hope gives me hope. So I always try to, every day when I get up, I'm an early riser, and I love to see the sunrise. And I remind myself every single day is one more opportunity
Oh,
to good, to practice my values and to get it right.
mm,
So whatever happened before, I have one more chance. So I am full of gratitude for what I do have. Not naive, not naive, but I think that the centeredness in hope and gratitude then helps me address the challenges because they are temporary challenges, and we can live past that. But I don't lose the sense of self. I know what I value. I know who I am, and I don't let any of that impact. My values include our values of equity and my values of service, my values of working with people and supporting people and giving back to the community, that no challenge in front of me will impact who I know I am and what I believe is my mission on earth. And that is to serve. And my commitment is unwavering,
yes.
and I don't let other things get in the way of that. As I said earlier, as I started, I'll close. The same agency I like to give other people, I give myself.
I,
That I can do the work. I can stay centered. Maybe that comes with maturity too. But it's how I know we can together. We are more powerful than working alone. I know that there are people who have good intentions, that have positive intentions. So among all the chaos and all of the still challenges that we have from a race and equity perspective, I know so many people that are fighting the good fight.
yes.
And I join with them to make sure that there is a brighter future for all people in this nation, not some people.
Well, and you've been leading the fight for so long. And I have to tell you, just, as we're closing out just this short chat today, I wanted to just tell you, like, I've been reflecting on my own leadership. There are big things happening in my district, being a chancellor of a community college district too. Like, and I feel like I believe in the universe, and that you were just this gift for me today to remind me about really key tenets for leaders in this equity work, staying connected to each other, focusing on the joy and the love and not allowing others, remembering and moving people forward in their own agency and making those tough decisions and staying curious and being just connected in this work. And so what an honor and a privilege to have you on Equity Chat 2.0 today, Dr. Maria Harper-Marinick.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Such a pleasure. And so, and for all you guests to Equity Avengers, I just want to remind you to visit equityavengers.com, where you can find our podcast, Equity Avengers Assemble, and sign up to get our newsletter, and really continue to follow us on YouTube, LinkedIn, X, and Blue Sky, and wishing you all a great rest of the day. Thank you again.
Thank you.